All right, beginning with number 1. So, quick reminder, just in case there was any confusion with the speeds I use in demonstrating the stuff here. So just so the videos aren't like really long, I don't do every single speed you're supposed to do. So I just do the 60, 80, and 100. Again, just for demonstration purposes. So very important that you still go 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100 each practice session with all of these. So you want to make sure you're getting all of those different tempos, okay? Very important. And yes, keep counting out loud as you go. So just setting you up for the more challenging things that are going to happen eventually. As far as learning these things, learning like where to put your hand and all that stuff. So the little yellow square that's up right now that's highlighting the note that I picked. Remember, this is the most important thing to do, or to look at. So you don't want to look at this note. That's not the important one to look at. You want to look at the bass note here. So when you're reading chords and like saying the frets you play and whatnot, you always want to read it from the bottom up. So you usually strum from this note going up to the higher notes. So read it from the bottom up. So opposite of what we're used to. It makes sense. A lot of people will, start reading it from the top down like we do in a book. But for this instrument here, you're going to read it from the bottom up. So read it from, so this is the first note you're going to hit in the chord. So when you're strumming, you strum this way. So that's the most important notes you're going to look at, and that's also the root note of this chord name up here. So so using that idea, a little trick or whatever you want to call it, of saying the fret number that you're going to familiarize yourself with where you're supposed to move your hand. So this is what you're going to be saying, the lower notes there, the lower number there. So that's what you're going to follow. So what I recommend here, memorize where you're going to go first. Before you do the metronome, memorize where you're moving. So that's step 1. Step 2 is going through the metronome. But you're not going to say what the fret numbers are when you do the metronome work. So you can say the fret numbers, when you're memorizing where to go. Eventually, what I want you to do is, so before the metronome, I guess we'll add a step. So first thing, learn where to go, say the fret number you're going to, so you are telling yourself where to go, and then be able to play it without saying with the fret number, and then be able to say it, by saying the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on. So the count. So you're going to be saying the beat, the numbered beat you're on, and then go to the metronome. So all that being said, let's do the demonstration speeds here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. All right, now 80 beats a minute. A 1, 2, a 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And 100 beats a minute. Your top speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. All right, on to number 2. So same idea here as previous example. So learn where you're going first. So say the base fret number. So say that as you go from one chord to the next, so you're telling yourself where to put your hands. And then be able to do it without saying the fret numbers. And make sure you can do it while counting the beats, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then get to the metronome. Alright, so down to 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Alright, 80 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Okay. On to number 3. So, the dotted half note. So, review time. So, let's see. I just wonder if there's another way I could show this. But, as I can. Let me see here. Let me open up something. Let me do it like this. No, it's not wanting to show up. Hang on. I know what I can do. Do it like, there we go. Okay, this will work. So, half note. It's very, very tiny. Well, I guess hopefully that'll show up okay on the screen. You know what? One sec. Let me just do this instead. Don't save that. Let me just use the bottom of this thing I'm working on. Or not. Oh my goodness. This is not going smooth, is it? Crap. Okay. Let's zoom in here a bit. Alright, I think this will work now. So, half note equals, basically you have a count of 2 or 2 quarter notes. So a quarter note gets a count of 1. It goes across one beat. So half note equals 2 quarter notes. Or, here's another way to look at it. Let's look at it this way. Quarter note plus quarter note. So that's how long a half note lasts, right? So when you add the dot, you're adding half the value of the half note. So the dot is basically going to equal, add half, yes, again, half the value of what's, add half the value to what's been dotted. It's a very confusing thing to say. I mean, once you understand it, it makes sense. You add half the value to what's been dotted. So, in the case of a dotted half note, you are adding, so remember, you're expanding, you're making what you're dotting last longer. So half of the dotted half note lasts the length of a half note plus 1/4 note. In other words, it lasts 3 beats. So, referring back to the last example, or the last metaphor thing, if you add, so you have a minute, which lasts, 2 pairings of 30 seconds, okay? So if you add half of a minute to itself, it now lasts a minute and a half. It lasts 90 seconds. So a dotted note is expanding, you're lengthening it. It lasts longer now. It's not shorter, it's longer. So it has to last longer. So let's close this guy. And minimize you, and back to, here we go. So now I'm just going to play it and you hear what happens. So basically, long story short, this lasts for a count of 3, and then you're back to this being a count of 1. So, well, now you have the story behind it, why it is what it is. So here we go, 60 beats a minute, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Alright, 80 beats a minute. Ooh, goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And last speed here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Okay. I do believe that covers everything. But, as always, if you have any questions before our next class, please let me know. And happy counting. See you next week.